Today I'm going to be talking about Cobra Kai Season 4, which is the latest season just before the Season 5 drops this next week. So let me know down in the comments below what you thought of Cobra Kai Season 5. And this will include spoilers, so if you haven't watched the show already, make sure to check it out before we dive into it right now. So overall, Cobra Kai Season 4 starts off with the duel and the team up of Johnny and Daniel, combining Dojo's Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang as Kreese is on the adventure as he's going to bring back Terry Silver, which is really interesting in the motive they're going, but it was really just as well deserved with the return of Karate Kid 3 references and how we are building on the relationship between them. And between the first watch and now, I enjoyed Cobra Kai Season 4 just a little bit more just because of the way I got to rewatch the Karate Kid movies, get to understand a little bit more of the references, and building on the relationship also of how I'm understanding Terry Silver in Karate Kid 3 versus how he is about the same around this area of Karate Kid. And just the way they're going about that, telling that story, and then building on the relationship with Robbie getting sent to juvie, and then going through that mess, and then ultimately going to Kreese for help because it's a place to crash, and ending up helping them and needing to learn more about karate becomes that much more substantial of a storytelling element because they're always switching sides, and Robbie was always known to being on Miyagi-Do's side, and now he's helping Cobra Kai, starting to understand more their view, or at least just understanding, wanting to help others, and especially as we get this other guy added into the mix, and just the way they're going about exploring his character and building on Robbie's relationship with him is really entertaining to watch, but also you're seeing the parallels between him and then Johnny and Robbie, how Johnny is trying to raise his son and doesn't do so well in that regards because of how he failed when he was younger to be there for him most of the time, and the dynamic you get between the characters because of that is really intriguing and brings about a lot of good fights, and also fights that don't always end up in the same way. And you're still seeing the feud between Johnny and Daniel because they're so similar that it's hard to work together and hard to still be on the same page with their own training. They're arrogant toward each other and also still trying to figure out how to push each other to join the right dojo, even though there is no right dojo. And I really love, especially in regards to that, at the very end, Daniel is reflecting on how he was trained by Mr. Miyagi to train in his own way, that even Miyagi-Do isn't always the correct way by the way they're doing it. And so Daniel learns that lesson, and I even forgot upon rewatch of the Karate Kid movies that they made that reference. And so it was really intriguing to see how well invested they went into the lines of Karate Kid, integrating it into the movie. And then with this, you're getting a lot more John Kreese flashbacks, which I'm not the biggest fan of how they may interrupt the show randomly, but I think it holds a lot more substance than previous seasons, that it felt a lot more earned of how they're paralleling what they did back then versus what they're doing now. And they're adding a little more spark to John Kreese and his character. And then Terry Silver, also reluctant at first to go back into karate and Cobra Kai, is living his rich life, but then finds the purpose of how he can train to be in karate again. And just the way they're going with his character is exponentially better than I really expected. And as cheesy as Karate Kid 3 was with the way they were exploring his character, how he was extra forceful on attacking Daniel, it still comes off as aggressive and better than it's better than something that is not believable. And so how they handle that is really well deserved, especially as he slowly begins to overcoming the students, noticing Kreese's weakness, and adding into the substance of how Robbie and Tori are still dating and what they're doing, how they're relating, and then Amanda, Daniel Lewis's wife, is trying to connect more with Tori through the fight, wanting to get some sort of things done. And just the way you see that father-daughter relationship or mother-daughter relationship and how they're integrating different things based on what they've learned in the past, it just feels so right in a way that they're still exploring the ideas that you don't always see what the other side is until you're in the other side. And so when they start to relate to each other through characters and who they were in the past, it becomes that much more obvious that there's a darker side to each person that it's harder to want to remember. And so the way they go about telling that tale throughout the story is just really good. And just the way Hawk gets attacked by them shaving his mohawk and then just feeling insecure and going back to his old ways is such a powerful tale, and it really brings something that I just really strongly remember about this season and how that affects him building up to the tournament, but then also building his own self-integrity even without the mohawk. And so it's just really interesting what they do with each of these characters and how well balanced most of them are. Obviously there's still side characters that are put in the back end and a little bit more than others, but with the characters they focus on, there's still a wide variety and a good balance of how well they integrate their character traits and create personal relationships within each other and against each other, especially with how you're getting traitors in the past versus who they are today, and just constant switching sides between certain dojos based on how they feel betrayed, and each dojo having the benefits and cons that draw people the other way as they feel mistreated, especially as they're still maturing in their high school age and what they're doing with that, and then getting a little bit more with Max as well from the Russo family, that we're gonna get a little bit more from him in the future. So overall, this season brought out such a substantial element that by the end, with the 2-episode finale of the All Valley tournament, it brings something that is just highly substantial. And though there's only 4 seasons thus far, it may be on the upper half of my ranking, but I'll be getting into my ranking and more Karate Kid and Cobra Kai content as we get into Season 5 of Cobra Kai coming next week. So let me know down in the comments below what you thought of Cobra Kai Season 4. Is it your favorite season, or does it land on the lower end of the list? Thank you for watching. Bye.